Welcome to East Coast Salon Services Virtual Education. I'm really thrilled that you decided to join me today in Classic Finishing Quick Tips and Tricks. My name is Marisa and I'm an East Coast educator here to share with you an easy, quick way to put the hair up. So our model today will be Vanessa, and this is her final look that took under 30 minutes to achieve. And she has an event coming up, but she didn't make an appointment. So what we're going to do with Vanessa today in the consultation is that we're going to get her hair up. She didn't make that appointment and she needs to do it. Now, when I first started in the industry, we would always have to preset the hair, wait for it to cool down, then turn around and comb it all back. And I wanted to find an easier way to do this. I'm like, we don't need to be spending all that time. There will be those scenarios where it's a necessity, but this was a quick and easy way. Like I said, she didn't make her appointment ahead of time. So we have the Vanessa, pre-Vanessa here, and she is just freshly laundered. What I'm going to share with you today is that for these mannequins, we recycle them frequently during all of our hands-on classes, so she's just freshly laundered. She does not have any product, nor will I be working with any product today as I put her hair up. So what I would say, and even the Vanessa that is done, she has no product in her hair. So just imagine that if you're incorporating product into it, you're going to have a smoother, shinier end result with that. And I'm going to go over some products that are some of my favorites when doing some upstyling. So it's always in the consultation and what the guest was or what she's looking for. So one of the tools that I'll be using right now will be a hybrid of a brush and a rat tail comb, and I'm going to section it. So when we get these guests that come into the salon, some of us love to do upstyling. In many of my classes, people go, yep, I love to do some upstyling. So there'll be some tricks that you can add to your basket of tricks that you already do behind the chair. When the concept came up, it was for those stylists that really think, gosh, they see this much hair walking in the salon and they're running all the way in the back to the other side of the salon. And what I'm going to say is if you want to play along at some point, you can come back and replay it, that if you practice this, you can walk up to the front of that salon, greet that guest, and feel very confident that you can achieve an end result in 30 minutes or less. Again, but with practice. So the first part is sectioning. Sectioning has everything to do with it. And a lot of times when I'm putting hair up and I want to kind of create a design, or I want to curl it and then I want to pin it in, I have this one big ponytail sitting in the back of her head. And then I'm trying to distribute this hair, so that it has balance and equally throughout. So when we're doing this, we're going to turn around and I'm going to take it and make it into two sections, and I'm going to create ponytails. So the look that I'm going to do for you today will only be utilizing brushes, bands, and bobby pins. That's the only thing that we'll be using. Again, then behind the chair, you'll be using products to kind of guide you through that process of pulling that hair back. So the first section will start behind the ear, and it'll go straight into a huge arch to the other side of the ear on there. So I'm going to take this one section, I'm going to come back behind the ear, and I'll turn her around for you, and I'm going to clip this out of the way. By doing this and sectioning this out, by the time I have both of these ponytails in, I will have hit all of my sectioning. And then I'm going to come around to this side, coming behind the ear, coming in and meeting up. And then I'm going to pin this out, or clip it out of the way. So now you see that I have this arch that goes from one side of the ear to the other side of the ear. So to make it a little more visible for you, I have a pre-sectioned mannequin. Again, behind the ear, high arch, and then coming behind the ear again. Now, when I'm doing these ponytails, what you also want to do, because every head of hair will have a different level of density in it, you kind of want to feel the ponytails. You want to evenly distribute that hair that's on that head, even though it's going to be living here, but it'll make it a little easier. So you shouldn't have like a gigantic ponytail and a real tiny ponytail. So every head of hair will dictate it, but this is basically the sectioning that you'll be using. Okay. So the first thing, after I have this section, I felt the density of the hair, I'm happy with it. I'm going to move this clip out of the way a little bit. I'm going to create, the first ponytail that I'm going to create is the bottom section of that. And I'm going to lift this hair up and make it a very, very high ponytail. I'm going to grab all that hair in my hands and I'm just going to comb that up. Like I said, no product is in the hair right now. And we're going to move this up the head. She probably won't spin quite this much for you, your guest. Or maybe they are because we got some bobbly heads going around. And we're going to put a ponytail in this. From here, as high as we can. A lot of times when we do these classes, a lot of people are putting ponytails. And again, this will be the purest form. So for those of you who love to do hair, you might be going, I do this kind of, maybe I can do this in a different way. Or this is a really quick and easy way. Because by putting this in a pony and using elastic, I'm going to have a lot of control very quickly and very easily. You'll see a lot of different tutorials of different ways of putting ponytails. Clear elastics are my favorite, no matter whose hair I'm working on. Goes exactly where I need it to be. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to over direct this hair back. I'm going to comb it all the way back, and by combing this back, I'm going to hide my part line. And this ponytail is going to live underneath this existing ponytail. So one ponytail is fed into the next ponytail. So I'm going to take this one clip out, put it back here, and we are going to start brushing the hair back. And as you can see, as I'm brushing this hair back, I'm already starting to cover that part that I created. So now it's very easy to do. I'm going to flip this ponytail over. Now, if this was a live guest, she has some hands, and I would go ahead and ask her to hold that ponytail for me. She's not. So then I'm going to just flip that over, and I will gently comb that in, bringing that ponytail to my other ponytail if I want. I'll bring it back over, smooth that out a little bit, and then put a ponytail right here. And so now you see that the bottom ponytail has now become the top ponytail, and the top section of the hair has become the bottom of the ponytail. So I have one pre-done that's a little cleaner, and I'm going to move on to her. We got lots of Vanessas today to play with. So again, bottom ponytail becomes the top ponytail becomes the bottom ponytail. I'm going to clip this top ponytail out of the way. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this one ponytail into two ponytails. And again, all about feeling the weight of the hair based on the guest that you're working on. And I'm going to create 4 ponytails. I've chosen to create 4 ponytails because you can do 3 ponytails in this bottom section. 4 ponytails depends on the density or lack thereof. And what I choose to do is bring that ponytail halfway through. Halfway through, lock that in. And then I'm going to come to the bottom section. So each of these ponytails that I'm subdividing will now have 2 bands in there, separating pretty much mid-length of that strand of hair. And then at the very bottom, leaving just the tail of the hair out. I can roll that down a little bit. And now I just have those tails coming in here, going halfway through. Rubber bands coming in there. I can glide that down a little further if I want to. And then coming to the bottom and putting another band in here. So starting at the bottom makes it a little bit easier. So that top ponytail will just float on top of it. And then we'll subdivide that into 2, and then subdivide it into 4. So 1 ponytail into 2, and each ponytail halfway through, and then at the very bottom, and I can always roll that down a little bit. It's on the very end. So I'm not going to worry about the ends till the end, because I can just kind of clip them up. I'm waiting up to the end till the end, right? And then we're going to come back in here. Now, what are some products that I could be using while I'm doing this? I could be using sprays, and I could be using shine spray, or a little bit like Redken are my go-to products for this. The Glow Dry, if I wanted to smooth those ends out, just a couple of pumps in there, and put that in there, and glide that through the bottom of the ponytail to create some control. Because again, I'm not curling it, I'm not looking to put any wave in there, just keeping that smooth halfway through. A little bit of that Glow Dry in there will help even that band just slide down if you want to, a little more easily. Making life easy again for you. Now, so if you were to decide that somebody has a mega amount of hair and you decided to put 3 or 4 ponytails into that one ponytail, then you'll just have more intricate end results. So Vanessa up here that you're looking at here, she has exactly what I'm doing right now. And then I'm taking each one of these ponytails that I have and subdividing them. And then I'm going to put a bobby pin through the rubber band and pin it into the hair. Now this is where your creativity really comes to play. You're gonna see your guest and where you want it to live. Like I said, I checked out the density of the both ponytails to make it as even as I possibly could. I split this again in half to make it again as equally as I possibly can. Now it's your creativity. Where do you want to see when you're seeing that guest in the mirror? Where do I want that hair to live? That's where it's going to create the balance. That's going to be your creativity. But it becomes as simple as this. I can flip the hair and I can kind of take a read of it. See where I want it to go. Do I want it to go here? Do I want to drag it up here? Do I want it to come down here? It'll totally be your creative license to decide it. And you see, as I'm placing it, I can even move it around, zhuzh it, and open that up a little bit more. So once you decide where you want to go, then I'm going to take my bobby pin. And with my bobby pin, you'll see that there's the longer of the two teeth. So I'm going to start with that going into the bobby pin and into the rubber band. So I'm going to spin that around again. And now I always say, our hands are our best tools. So I'm going to kind of feel where that is. I'm going to find my bobby pin, turn it around where the longer of the feet is there. And I'm going to feed that bobby pin in, I feel it, through the rubber band and then through the hair. Then I'm going to take my next section. Again, where do I want it to be? Where is it going to be creative? Okay. And then I say, okay, I like it there. Again, you can always come back. So if you notice, I'm just putting one bobby pin in at a time. And the reason for that is, back in the day when I would do an upstyle, I'd be throwing lots of bobby pins in there. And then that guest was almost done or got it almost done, and I show her the mirror and I'm spinning her around and she's like, can you just move that one a little higher, a little lower, right? See, I'm feeling that in there, seeing where that's in, locking that in. If I put just one bobby pin, I can just kind of pop it out and I'm not wrecking the whole style versus having 5 bobby pins, and you know how that all makes us feel and the verbs that are going through our head of what we're thinking while we're doing that. So now I'm going to just spin her around slightly. And again, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to kind of place, see where I'm at. Take my bobby pin. Feel for the rubber band. You know, we feel all that out. And then pop that bobby pin in there and see where it's at. Now I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to pop this one out. I'm going to spread that out a little bit. Feel a bobby pin. And see where I want to say. I have that bobby pin through the rubber band. And again, I'm leaving those ends out because then I can come back in and decide where I want to open it up a little bit more, put a few more bobby pins in there to see the space and where I want it to live on the head. So I continue doing that process until she becomes our finished Vanessa. And so this finished Vanessa, again, with no product in her hair, one bobby pin through every piece of rubber band that I have. So one big ponytail into 2 ponytails, 2 ponytails split into another 2 ponytails. So now we have 4, and every strand of hair, 2 rubber bands on every strand, pinning that in. So if I finish it, and then I can go back in, move it around, put some bobby pins in there where I feel that they are necessary, whether I want to open them up. And then I come in. My favorite hairspray is the Redken Triple Take 32. I love all their hairsprays, but this seems to be one of my going. It doesn't have that traditional crunch hold to it, but it is our highest holding. So the number always dictates where the hold factor will be that much stronger than water. So always spray in the direction that you want that hair to go in. And then just, or another great trick is if we have an old brush that we don't want to use for makeup anymore, I can spray the brush, I can put that down, and I can just kind of come in there and slightly smooth any little flyaways for us. And there we go. This is my Vanessa, 30 minutes or less. Remember I said, practice makes perfect. Practice makes you feel more comfortable and speeds it along. And I promise you that in less than a half an hour, you can have a done and finished up style for yourself. Miss Vanessa, ready to party the night away. Thank you so much for joining me for East Coast Salon Services Virtual Education. Again, my name is Marisa, and I look forward to visiting with you for more virtual education.